Welcome to Tech Blueprint, a window that lets you know the latest technology news in the world. You may have heard of ASML, the big boss in the lithography industry, which has a significant impact on chip manufacturing. Recently, ASML seems to be less worried about the chip of Huawei's new mobile phone Mate70, and even thinks it is unlikely to be a 5-nanometer process. We have to talk about this matter. First of all, we have to understand what the 5-nanometer process is. Simply put, this 5-nanometer process is a technology for chip manufacturing that allows the transistors in the chip to be arranged more closely, so that the chip performance is stronger and the power consumption is lower. Just like when we build a house, the smaller the bricks, the stronger and more beautiful the house can be. This 5-nanometer process is like a small brick in the chip industry, which can make mobile phones and computers run faster and smoother. So why is ASML not so worried about the chip of Huawei Mate70? The reason has to start with the things between Huawei and ASML. ASML, as a lithography giant, used to be one of Huawei's important suppliers of chips. But in recent years, due to well-known reasons, Huawei has encountered a lot of trouble in the chip field. Especially the 5-nanometer chip has become a headache for Huawei. Because the manufacturing of the 5-nanometer chip is extremely difficult, it requires the most advanced lithography machine. And ASML is the big boss of this lithography machine. However, ASML seems to have changed its attitude towards the chips of Huawei Mate70 recently. They believe that Huawei Mate70 is unlikely to adopt the 5-nanometer process. Why is this? Does ASML have any inside information? In fact, ASML's judgment is not unreasonable. Let's think about it. Huawei has indeed encountered many difficulties in the chip field in recent years. Especially the 5-nanometer chip is even more difficult to break through. Although Huawei has been working hard on research and development, it is not an easy task to achieve large-scale mass production of 5-nanometer technology in a short period of time. Coupled with the various restrictions of the external environment, Huawei's development in the chip field can be said to be difficult. And ASML, as a lithography machine giant, is well aware of the dynamics of the chip manufacturing industry. They are well aware of Huawei's difficulties in the chip field and the difficulty of the 5-nanometer process. Therefore, when the news of Huawei Mate70's upcoming release came, ASML may have felt that Huawei was unlikely to use 5-nanometer chips this time. Why is ASML so sure? In fact, this also reflects ASML's judgment on the chip manufacturing industry. They know that although the 5-nanometer process is powerful, it is not omnipotent. With the development of technology, people's demand for chips is also changing. Sometimes, performance is not the only pursuit, and factors such as power consumption, cost, and stability are equally important. Therefore, ASML may feel that Huawei may adopt a more practical and balanced chip solution on Mate70 instead of blindly pursuing 5-nanometer technology. Speaking of which, what is the process of Huawei Mate70's chip? For this matter, we have to wait for Huawei's official announcement to confirm. However, judging from ASML's attitude, we may be able to guess. Huawei Mate70's chip may really no longer be a 5-nanometer process. Perhaps, after experiencing a series of difficulties, Huawei has finally found a chip development path that suits it. This road may not be the most dazzling 5-nanometer process, but it is a more suitable and practical choice for Huawei. This incident also shows us the cruelty and helplessness of the chip manufacturing industry. In this industry, technology is updated very quickly, and you may be left behind if you are not careful. Just like Huawei, it was once a leader in the chip industry, but now it is facing various difficulties. However, we must also believe in Huawei's strength and determination. After all, Huawei has a deep foundation and strong R&D capabilities in the field of science and technology. I believe that they will be able to overcome many difficulties and stand out in the chip field again. Speaking of this, we have to mention ASML. As a giant in lithography, ASML's attitude is actually worthy of our attention. Although they are not so worried about Huawei Mate70's chips on the surface, they must be paying close attention to Huawei's dynamics behind the scenes. After all, Huawei was one of their important customers. Now that Huawei is in trouble, can ASML not be anxious? However, we also have to understand ASML's position. After all, they are a commercial company and have to consider their own interests and market share. Therefore, when Huawei encounters difficulties in the chip field, ASML may also re-evaluate its market strategy and risks. This is also the norm in commercial competition. Finally, we have to talk about the impact of this matter on our ordinary people. To be honest, this chip matter is closely related to the mobile phones and computers we usually use. If Huawei really adopts a new chip solution on Mate70, will the performance of our mobile phones and computers be affected? Will the price change? These issues are the focus of our ordinary people. However, let's not worry too much. After all, technology is constantly developing. Even if the chip of Huawei Mate70 is not a 5-nanometer process, it does not mean that its performance is not good. Maybe Huawei can find a chip solution that is more suitable for itself. At that time, our mobile phones and computers may run faster and smoother. So, folks, let's wait patiently for the release of Huawei Mate70. I believe Huawei will definitely bring us a surprise.